Hey, Miles, it's me, Jack. I want to tell you that on July 16th, the iconic Looney Tunes are back, and they're like you've never seen them before. It is Space Jam: A New Legacy. And, of course, no Space Jam movie would be complete without the real players, baby.
I don't know what to say. They have everyone. They've got LeBron James and other huge stars from the NBA and WNBA facing off in the most epic basketball game of all time. Look,
yeah, man.
Whether you're like me and you're in it for the Toon Squad or like others for the Goon Squad, you do not want to miss out.
Space Jam: A New Legacy is in theaters and HBO Max July 16th, and it's rated PG.
To show you how easy it is to file a claim with Geico, we hired a soap opera star.
Gracious me, my car has storm damage and I've had to file a claim. Could it possibly get worse? Will my claims team leave me for someone else? Someone less intense?
No. Actually, when you file a claim with Geico, you get your own dedicated claims team who promises to stay with you throughout the process.
Oh, I've never known such loyalty. I can't wait for the second season.
Geico. Great service without all the drama.
Hello, the internet, and welcome to this episode of Trenda Walsh. 90210 ref.
Oh.
Is that from you, Miles?
Yep. I'm just seeing the title matrix at the moment.
Nice. Well, you are Miles. I am Jack.
Am?
Yes, sir. And here are some of the things that are trending here this afternoon. The Lox vs. Dipset is trending because that is a recently announced versus, and I haven't really been paying that much attention to these verses, but I don't know. Does this one excite you?
No. I mean,
it seems pretty lopsided to me.
Yeah, Dipset has more hits that people know, like, as a group. The Lox, I mean, but personally, like, I'm a huge Jadakiss and Styles P fan. Sheik Luch, not so much. Not that I dislike Sheik, but I just, his solo work didn't quite break through as maybe Jada's and Styles' stuff did. But I think, like, on Twitter, though, everyone's saying, like, this should be G Unit versus Dipset, not Lox. The Lox versus Dipset. So, I kind of agree. But I mean, the Lox has had a really weird career. Like, if you really want to get into it, it's like, I mean, the deal that they had with Bad Boy was terrible. And that definitely set them back for a while. And then they had to go to Rough Riders, and then they did their own stuff. So it hasn't been an easy road for those three.
Yeah, you were saying it should be Wu-Tang versus Dipset. And then Brian and I, super producer Brian and I, were saying that's too much. Wu-Tang is like kind of too good. Would be too hard of a matchup. But we were trying to think of like the dream verses that would balance with Wu-Tang. Maybe Death Row, like Death Row versus Wu-Tang.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. I think I'll be so myopic in my Wu-Tang love that I'll be like, they'll beat everybody. But yeah, that would be, I mean, like, those are out, like, because when you put out, again, individually, but then it's different, right? Like, Wu-Tang wasn't necessarily like a label like Death Row is, and it was can you compare the two? If you're going to do that, I guess you'd have to start putting labels up against each other. But then I guess we're zooming out too far for this conversation.
Right.
But all that to say is good luck to them. But I have a feeling, I don't know, how do New Yorkers feel like? Because I feel like I hear Jesus and Mero talk about, I feel like they've hypothesized about this potential battle before. And they're always going to say Dipset. Dipset, they have more hits. They have more hits. Like, if you're going purely off of like songs people know, they have more hits.
Just if you're going off of songs people listen to and enjoy, you're gonna.
What's your measure here?
However, if you're the Lox fan, then
things might be different.
Yeah,
things might be different.
All right. Fleet's R.I.P. Their brief time by design, in our timelines, and then
on Twitter, yeah,
in existence, period. So Twitter had it was like 3 years too late. They decided to do some tweets that would disappear, and they introduced that fairly recently, and people were like, oh, okay.
What? They're like, we have so many other apps that have tried, like Instagram already ripped off Snapchat. What are we doing? We're going back to Slingshot on Facebook, that app from 2014. Where are we going with this?
Anyways, it's gone. Did you ever use it? I was trying to think of like what I would use it for. Like what?
It was just confounding because I'm like, Instagram stories is this.
Right.
So, and that's the place to do that. Like, it's weird how, like, in my mind, each platform is like siloed for the kind of content you have. I'm like, this is just for weird words, Twitter.
Yeah. Instagram
Funky
stories
Instagram.
made sense because Instagram feeds were like, people felt like somewhat precious and like that there was pressure on like posting something. So like when stories came along, it was like, oh yeah, I can just like throw disposable shit up there and it's like I can share a little bit more. Whereas like Twitter, it's like there just like wasn't a version of Twitter that like demanded forgettableness. Twitter's already disposable. So it's not like people are like, oh, finally the pressure's off and I can just like drop these tweets that nobody's gonna give a shit about in a day. It's like that's already Twitter, man. That's the whole ball game.
Yeah, and that's why like most people are like, give us an edit feature, you fucking idiots. And that's what people want more than fleets. But I don't know if people are gonna do that. Whatever. I find myself slowly distancing myself from social media on some level, in the name of self-preservation.
Yeah. I don't think I need again, because of the disposable thing. Like if you fuck up, if you misspell something, or if you're wrong, just delete your tweet. Like why do people need the edit function?
I don't know. I think it's just because they don't want to delete stuff. I don't know. That's where I'm like, and I get it. You know, that's where it's tough because you get off a fire tweet and then you always see the thing. It's like, fuck, I had a typo in it. It's like, it went off anyway.
Yeah. People got it.
And also like, if you're going to be a parent about it, like, look, let that sting of failure help you, do better in the future. You're just paying you're paying your tuition to the school of experience.
Now you're an idiot forever. Are you happy? Game 4 is trending. Game 4 of the finals. Probably the most intriguing game to this point because now we have a Milwaukee Bucks victory to look back at, and we've seen what it looks like to have both teams kind of win convincingly. Game 4 was Game 3 was pretty interesting because Giannis looked unstoppable at various times.
Yeah.
It's like this could very well go in the direction that like, oh shit, Giannis just took it over, put the team on his back, and they won in 6. It could also go the direction of that was an aberration and, the Suns win in 5. I could see it going either way. I'd love it if it was like a back and forth and it goes to 7. We will see.
I would love. I would love to see a long, hard-fought series. I don't want to see one. I don't want to see the Suns take it away. Not that I'm rooting against them, but just as a neutral watching, I'm like, I like seeing people just come out and be like, I must win. People have so many different motivations in this final series to finally get that chip. Yeah. It's just great to watch.
It's also like a thing where the games aren't as fun to watch when the Bucks don't play well, because the Bucks are kind of ugly when they're not in their rhythm. Like the game just like gets ugly and like kind of ground down. Whereas like the Suns are always fun to watch. Like even when they lose, they're fun to watch.
Yeah.
So like that's a reason that I like root for the Bucks. That isn't really fair. It's just like I just want to watch fun basketball. And like when they don't have their shit going, it's kind of boring. At least in this series. While we're on the subject of basketball teams not having their shit going, 2 losses in a row in these tune-up games for USA basketball. So I kept reading these headlines, and I was like, oh, they must nobody played, right? Like I had heard Kevin Love played for the team, and I was like, oh, it must be like Kevin Love and
some college
equal
guy
or worse. That is playing on this team once I saw them start losing. It's Kevin Durant and Dame Lillard, and like the squad is stacked. and they're losing to Australia and Nigeria in these tune-up games. Not to go full Stephen A, but that is surprising. It's definitely a different sport than NBA basketball.
Yeah, I mean, and didn't the Nigeria team not have any pros on their team?
I don't know. I didn't even bother like looking at the lineup for the Nigeria and the Australia team, but yeah, there's definitely something with teams that play together and like have some sort of chemistry, but it's going to be wild if the US just goes out there with Kevin Durant and Dame Lillard and just a completely stacked squad, Bradley Beal, and like just like doesn't even medal. That would be wild.
You're gonna look like, what was it? When did Larry Brown coach? Was that 2004?
Yeah.
And that was an absolute disaster and harmed a few people's careers. But yeah, I mean, when you think about it, like with these national teams, like especially like Australia. Like these guys, like you're saying, they've played together for a long time, and they've played under FIBA rules and stuff. They know how to play internationally very well. And yeah, like when you just get the soup, like the Avengers, who like aren't fully gelling together, it's not always going to be a blowout. But I don't know. I mean, I guess I'll
they're playing a
preserve
sport
my panic for later.
Yeah. They're playing a different sport because the 3-point line's further in, everything's more packed in. Really favors basically shooting over everything. So I don't know. We'll see.
But whatever. I mean, whatever. If they lose, they lose. And shout out to whoever wins. But you think like you got Pop as the head coach.
I know.
And a lot of talented guys.
I was like, okay, who's coaching? Because their career is about to be it's the greatest basketball coach of the last 4 years.
Popovich?
Greg Popovich. Never mind. All right. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back. Hey, Miles, it's me, Jack. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. Are you ready for the slam dunk of the summer? I'm not talking about myself, which I can barely get net at this point.
No.
I am talking about Space Jam.
Oh, I know. On July 16th, the iconic Looney Tunes are back like you've never seen them before in Space Jam: A New Legacy. And they're teaming up with LeBron James and other stars from the NBA and WNBA in an epic adventure that will take you beyond your world and into a whole new dimension.
Man, this movie has everything. Heart, comedy, action, huge stars, and of course, the beloved Looney Tunes.
By who?
I'm talking Bugs.
Good.
You got Daffy. You got Lola Bunny. Yes, Miles, I know. Tweety Taz, Speedy Gonzalez, Yosemite Sam, Roadrunner, Wile E. Coyote, all the beloved tunes and more are teaming up with basketball's finest. Of course, LeBron.
Who?
You also got Dame.
Who?
Damian Lillard, sir.
Who?
Klay Thompson.
Who?
Anthony Davis. The list goes on and on.
All I heard was Lola Bunny.
Well, on July 16th, prepare to enter a new dimension, explore new worlds, and experience the event of the summer. Whether you're Team Toon Squad or Team Goon Squad, you won't want to miss this one. It's Space Jam: A New Legacy, and it is in theaters and on HBO Max July 16th. Rated PG. Hey, Zeitgang, it's me, Jack, from work or wherever you listen to this show. The car, maybe, but saying, hey, it's me, Jack, from your car sounds weird. Anyways, look, I want to tell you about a product I've used in the past when I was leaving my old job at Cracked and wanted to stay in touch with listeners and readers from Cracked. I went to squarespace.com and created jackcobrien.com to collect emails to stay in touch with you guys, and it worked. If you're listening to this, you or whoever told you about the podcast fell into my trap. But guys, you can use squarespace.com for anything. It's an all-in-one platform. They'll take care of e-commerce, domains, marketing tools, analytics. Most importantly for me, a dumb person who pretends to be smart for a living, it's easy to use and it doesn't look easy to use. It looks like you and an extremely talented graphic designer made it artisanally with your own hands somewhere in Brooklyn. You can do it all at squarespace.com. Go to squarespace.com/TDZ for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use the offer code TDZ to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. And we're back. And why is even God trending?
Because it's in response to this news story about how a George Floyd mural was struck by lightning and like partially destroyed. And it's almost like, and again, all the trash ass racist Christians have come out to be like, even God is tired of hearing about George Floyd, or even God has said there's enough of this stuff. Like, that's why it's trending. And it's mostly now that like people who realize what the trend is going on about, they're just clapping back with even God, and then like showing times churches have been struck by lightning and caught fire because it's a very narrow logic that this is somehow an abomination that God had to strike down. It's so fucking dumb, but that's taking up a lot of air on the internet at the moment.
Why is that even a news story? Like writing about that? Like what in the first place? How is that a story?
I don't know.
The reporters might not have a right-wing bias, but the people who write the headlines certainly find a way to just fucking twist everything to the right, I feel like.
Then there's also like people are saying like maybe it's lightning, maybe it was vandalism.
Jesus.
So that's not totally known at the moment, at least at the time of whatever loose reporting there is right now. But it's just, again, stupid culture war shit to just, not even culture war, just unbelievably untethered racism. But yeah, the internet.
Yes. Jerry O'Connell is trending because it is 1999. No, Jerry O'Connell is trending because he is replacing Sharon Osbourne on The Talk. He seems like a charming guy. Seems lovely, right?
I guess. I mean, it's like been so long. I'm like, I'm confused by this. I'm like, is this a like for like trade? Like if we're on a sports team, is Sharon Osbourne? You're like, all right, man, let's sub out Osbourne, get Jerry O'Connell in there at the 5. Like, I don't know. But I'm guessing maybe based on like the audience involved, like Jerry O'Connell still must have some kind of drawing power.
That's it would be like Sean Astin, or like, so, you know, like who?
Right.
It's just an actor from like back in the day.
What is it? Please let us know. Anyone who understands the appeal of Jerry O'Connell, is it that he's like?
I've definitely heard him.
Clean?
I've heard him interviewed, or like seen him do a podcast, maybe, I don't know, but I just remember him being like very like kind of bouncy and like positive and having a good sense of humor about himself. But
right,
yeah, I don't know. And he's like isn't he married to Rebecca Romaine Stamos, or was at one point?
Oh, really? I don't know. It's so hard. It's hard to keep up, Jack. Everyone's Rebecca Romaine Stamos O'Connell. Is that her?
Well, can't wait to continue to not watch The Talk to find out.
Right.
Jason Sudeikis is trending because, I mean, he's nominated for a bunch of Emmys for Ted Lasso, show that I know you and I both haven't seen. So
I saw the first 3 episodes because I did that thing where I'm like, I gave Apple enough money already. I can't now pay for more content from y'all.
Yeah.
But I did remember I had like, cause I got an Apple Watch like a few months ago that I had like some just default sort of subscription to Apple TV. So I watched the first almost the whole season. And it's fun. I get the appeal. Like it's super wholesome. Like it's like it has a heart and it makes you feel optimistic. And I think given when it was coming out, like it was the kind of show that people could watch and feel good after watching, rather than being like, everything's fucked. But really, all this has done is like brought up basically the internet's and pop culture's obsession with him and Olivia Wilde's like failed marriage because they split in November of 2020 and she left him for Harry Styles. And I saw headlines being like, to this day, Jason Sudeikis doesn't know, quote, why marriage failed with Olivia Wilde. And he's like in this GQ thing talking about all kinds of things about how he's like getting over it. Yeah, what is it?
I could help you out. Harry Styles is Harry Styles. He's like
do I have to say more? It's Harry Styles. That's apparently the Earth's one of the most desired people right now.
I'm a big Jason Sudeikis fan. When he was on SNL, huge fan. Loved his work since. Seems like a really nice dude. And yo, man, I can enlighten you on why she left you for Harry Styles, bro. I was also at a child's birthday, 1-year-old's birthday party with Harry Styles. This is getting to the level of British coal gas study, the thing that I bring up the most. But I was there, did see Harry Styles, and I was like, "You should leave me for him." To my wife,
what are you doing?
What are you doing with me? Go.
Are you dumb? Are you dumb?
He was so nice to everyone. It was either like he's going to like continue to have a big career and everybody be in love with him, or he was going to be like president of the world or something, because he just like makes everyone feel like he likes them and he's their friend. And that's
the most consistent anecdote I hear about anyone who's crossed paths with Harry Styles is like, he's actually one of the sweetest people I've ever met. I'm like, this guy's got it all, huh? God damn it. But they say in this story, in this story in GQ, he's talking about like this breakup and how it's affected him. And he said, I'll have a better understanding of why in a year, and an even better one in 2, and even greater one in 5. And then he goes on to say, it'll go from being, the book of my life to becoming a chapter, to a paragraph, to a line, to a word, to a doodle. And then he goes on to say, that's an experience you either learn from or make excuses about the split. He says, you take some responsibility for it, hold yourself accountable for what you do, but then also endeavor to learn something beyond the obvious from it, which is that Harry Styles is hotter than you. And that could be it. I don't know. I don't know what the lesson is. Maybe he did do something.
Oh, did he say?
No.
Oh, beyond the obvious, which is Harry Styles. I would respect the fuck out of that.
It's like beyond the obvious. Like obviously, I mean, I'm not out here trying to say, "Are you serious?" But give me a shot, Olivia, please. I hope that our marriage was built on something more than, I guess, Jason's hot.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, those are some of the things that are trending. We are back tomorrow with a whole ass episode of the show. Until then, be kind to each other, be kind to yourselves, wear a mask, get the vaccine, don't do nothing about white supremacy, and we will talk to y'all tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.
Transportista is a podcast that looks into the story of a mysterious pilot who spoke to us using a clandestine cell phone from inside a prison in North Carolina and claims to have worked in the international drug trade for some 30 years.
I'm Transportista. That's what I am.
He is also a man obsessed with telling and selling his own story. My name is John Gibler. This is Transportista. Listen to Transportista on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
iHeartRadio presents.
As far as we can tell, the earthquake somehow raised a new landmass out here.
Aftershock, starring Sarah Wayne Callies.
I gotta get out there. She's out there on that island.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
There are corpses all over the Southland.
And David Harbour.
I did my job, Cassie. This is what I do. They were gonna hurt you and I stopped them.
Aftershock. Listen and follow on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.